All right, hey everyone. We've been learning a little bit about radial designs and taking some inspiration from nature, maybe some butterflies or insects, maybe some flowers, could be even like some fruit. In that first video that you watched, we were able to see Mrs. Harrington walk through some steps of starting a canvas, turning on your drawing assist, making sure that's all set up, and then some steps in taking some images and drawing them in with that drawing assist on so that it would repeat it around your circle and make essentially your radial design. So the one I have pulled up right now is an example from the artist Damien Hirst. Hopefully you watched that video. There's a link, and it just gives you a little bit of background, lets you see his method and his style, who he is as an artist. And he works a little bit with some radial design, like this example with butterfly wings. So that's kind of that. In this video that I want to make today, I want to give you just an extended version of this project if you would like to try and push yourself to do the next step. Or if you're going in that first method and you're having some difficulty drawing whatever you may be drawing, say a butterfly or an insect, and it's kind of, you're getting stuck or tripped up, I want to show you in this video an easy way that you can import in a photograph that maybe even possibly you took and use that as inspiration to draw from. Okay, so that's kind of the main goal of this video, is to give you that next step for this project. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna switch over to my Procreate, and I have a couple already made, but I'm gonna, just like in Mrs. Harrington's video that she put together, I'm gonna add a new canvas. I already have a square format, so I'm gonna open that one up, okay? And the first step to do is obviously turn on your drawing assist for your radial design. So I'm actually gonna do a step before that. I'm gonna add a layer. So if I go up to the little squares here, these are my layers. I can push the plus and I can add a layer. So now I have layer 1 and layer 2. Layer 1 is gonna be where we insert that photo. Layer 2 is the drawing assist layer. That's what you're gonna be drawing on. So make sure that your layer 2 is highlighted, and then we're gonna come over to the wrench. And if we touch again canvas, and this is all review from Mrs. Harrington's video, she kind of walk you through this process, but under the wrench, touch the canvas, and you can see a drawing guide. You wanna make sure that's clicked on. My drawing guide right now is all set up in a grid format. We want it in that radial design. So we wanna edit the drawing guide, and then over here on the end is symmetry. So if I click on that, it's basically making just a line of symmetry down the middle, so the right and the left would draw the same. We want that to be in a circle, so I want to click options and hit where it says radial. And you can see that divides it up into essentially some pie pieces, okay? So I have my radial design drawing guide set up. So I'm gonna hit done. So that's my layer 2, that's the layer I'm gonna be drawing on. So at this point, in Mrs. Harrington's video, you can start drawing, and what you draw on one of these pie pieces, what you draw on one of those pie pieces is going to mirror all the way around that circle, okay, or around the square in this case. So if you're having a difficult time drawing on your own, there is a really cool trick, which is what I'm showing you right now, where you can import maybe your own photographs. So think about maybe some things in nature that might be inspiring or give you ideas for some designs. Maybe flowers or some bugs. It's a good chance to get outside, take your iPad, take some pictures. Some of you may have already been doing that for like science projects. So you might already have some photos saved, okay? So to do this, I'm going to click on layer 1 and then over back to the wrench. I'm going to hit the little add button and insert a photo. I actually put together a quick little photo album of a bunch of different inspirational things. Some are pictures that I've taken, some are images I found maybe on the internet, some are actually paintings that I've done. So I actually went out and took some pictures of these cool flowers, okay? So that imports in full screen. We want it to just be in the main flower part. We want that to just be in one of these pie pieces. So it can get kind of confusing. So here's a cool little step. I'm going to click back up on layer 2 and then I'm gonna add a layer in front of it, okay? So this layer, we're gonna actually draw and make a window, and that's gonna block out all the other pieces of pie so I can only see one triangle. You don't have to do this step. I think it makes it a little bit easier to isolate that one radial pie piece. And it also is a really cool way to hide the rest of your drawing. So at the end, it's kind of a cool surprise. So I'm actually gonna unclick my photo and then make sure I'm on this top layer, layer 3. And I just have my pen and I'm just gonna highlight this pie piece. So I'm gonna take and draw a line from here off the page, hold it so it snaps straight. I'm gonna come back to the center and draw a line off the page this way. Hold it so it snaps straight. So I have drawn just the lines on that one pie piece. Now I can actually click on that black up here and I'm gonna fill black in the rest of my canvas. So the only thing that I can see right now on this layer is this is an open window essentially. So if I turn my photo on back down here, you can see I can only see the photo there. So that's actually kind of a nice way to isolate the rest so you can kind of see what it's doing in that one piece. So I'm gonna click back down on that layer, hit my move tool, and now I can move that photo and I can make it as big as I want. I can kind of play around and place it in that window. I'm gonna put it like that. Then I hit that again and it locks it in place, okay? So now I'm essentially ready to draw. So before I draw, I'm gonna actually click this little N and I'm gonna reduce the opacity of my photo. That'll help me see the drawing a little bit easier. And then I wanna make sure, this is important, click on layer 2. That is the drawing layer. You don't wanna draw right on your photo because then it won't go away, okay? So once that layer is highlighted, I'm essentially ready to draw. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna use technical pen. And now I can essentially do some outlining right on top of my photo, but it's the layer above. So if I come in, I can start to essentially trace or outline the photograph that I've taken. So I'm just gonna kind of quickly go through and do some of this. If I want a thinner line, I can reduce that brush size. And now I can draw some of these petals. The amount of effort that you put into this tracing will give you the outcome in the end that you are required or wanting. So if I quickly rush through, it's gonna be probably a sloppy outline and I might not be happy with it. So take your time with this part and really put in that quality craftsmanship. You can decide if you want to add lines here and there. This is just a guide. So if I want to add on anything, go right ahead. This is your drawing. The photo that you took and you're tracing from, that's just to kind of get you started. Now, as I outline this, I've got my flower. Now I have some leaves in the background that I want to do, just so it's not boring and blank. So I'm just going to kind of outline some of these leaves that I see. This nice leaf, I'm going to put a little bit more of a point to it, just to make it a little more interesting. And I'm just going to kind of have some fun with this part. and I'm only drawing in this one pie piece. Magically, it's actually drawing it on the rest of my canvas. I just can't see it because I made this window. So it's kind of a fun way you can have a little surprise in the end. I'm just going to do a couple more. And again, you decide what parts you want to draw. If you see a big blank open area, you can definitely add onto it. So I changed that leaf a little bit. I see this big blank area, so I'm going to draw one more leaf coming out from there. Maybe a big fat leaf. Okay. So when I'm ready, I can come back to my layers. And the first thing I want to do, I want to turn off my photo. So I'm going to unclick this box. And now I'm left with just my nice line drawing, which is pretty cool. And then the fun part is come back up to this layer on top, layer 3, and I want to hide this window so I'll be able to see. And this is where that surprise comes. You can see just tracing this one pie piece, what that's going to do into the radial design. So I'm going to unclick that. And now I have this really cool radial design, and it's all based off of my photograph, what I traced, but it has made it into this really cool design. Okay. So at this point, I'm kind of ready to start coloring. Before I color, I want to go back to my drawing layer, and I want to look through, and if I'm going to drag and drop colors in, anywhere where you see you didn't create an enclosed shape, if I drag and drop a color in there, let's say I want to color these green, that's bright green, I'm going to make it a little bit more like that. If I drag and drop a green in there, it's going to color outside of it. Undo with your 2 fingers. You can tap, or you can just touch undo. And then I'm going to go back to black. I'm going to enclose this shape first. So I'm going to make this kind of connected. So now it's actually an individual shape. I can also come around and see if there's any other areas that I want to kind of enclose. Make sure that you have completed any lines. If you see any big blank open areas and you want them to have something a little bit more interesting in it, you can add shapes in at this point. But essentially, once you have those lines where you want, then you're ready to color. So select the color that you want. I'll go purple. And now I can just drag and drop my purple into my flower. And since it's painting on the drawing assist layer, when I drag and drop a color here, it's going to drop it all the way around the circle, which is pretty cool. Now you can keep it simple and you just do basic colors, or if I want to, I can come in, maybe select a little bit lighter of a purple now, and I could come in and actually add some highlights with that light purple. I can try different brushes and actually blend some colors together if I want to. I can select more of a bluish purple and kind of add some features that way. So how much you put into the coloring part, that's up to you. So that's your decision. I could get the lighter and add some highlights out here now. So that's where you can kind of get lost in your drawing. You can have some fun dropping in and adding colors, okay? So that's the basic idea. We added a canvas. We added 3 total layers. Layer 1 is where your photo is. Layer 2 is the drawing layer. That's the one that you make the drawing assist for the radial design. And then layer 3 is just the optional layer, and that's the layer that blocks out the rest of the drawing. So you're just seeing that one pie piece, which is kind of fun because then in the end you get this surprise of what it looks like. Okay, so 3 total layers: photo, drawing, and then the window. The coloring part is just kind of up to you, what colors you want to do, what all you want to add, if you want to leave areas blank and white. Or if you want to make it full color, that is completely your decision. Have some fun with it. Mrs. Harrington showed you a really cool trick with the gradient that we did on the Zentangle design. You can do something like that with this as well. So really just remember to have some fun with your artwork and do it for you. That's why I like this option of being able to include a photograph that maybe you have taken. It makes it a little bit more meaningful for you and kind of gets you a little bit more invested in to what the artwork is that you're doing. Okay, so real quick before I go, let's go back to my gallery page and I'll show you a couple that I did. I have a photograph of some oranges that I took. So I just brought it in. I have my window layer, my drawing layer, and my photo layer. Literally just some sliced oranges. I put it on, traced it. I'm very inspired by graffiti, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to add some of those kind of graffiti type spray paint drops. And then when you do it in a radial design, it makes this really cool, interesting design. So that's one that I've done. Here's another one that's cool. Here's a purple flower. Did it much the same, colored it in, added some of those cool graffiti spots. And when I turn this off, you can see it makes a really interesting design. Okay. I did one like the artist we learned about a little bit about, Damien Hirst. I started to do one with butterflies. Makes a really interesting design. And I had that butterfly layer that I could kind of go from and draw from. So really, how much you put into it is up to you. Here's another really cool flower one. Have some fun with it. And I can't wait to see the awesome creations that you come up with. When you're done, remember to share it up here in the wrench. Share JPEG or a PDF probably would work even better because you can copy it straight to Schoology then. Okay, that is it. And I can't wait to see what you create. All right, guys, see you later.